Now let's flip over to 2025 here. I've got another model set up. Here's a mechanical model, and I just want to point out something through this one here that can happen when you're working from an architectural project and you have a mechanical link. So in the previous example, we were looking at a model that's like a master model where you have a bunch of links put into a giant site file. In this situation, it's more a real world application, and I've got all of this stuff from the mechanical file. And then if we switch back over here, you can see here's my coordination file. So this is something more like what a VDC coordinator is going to be putting together. They've got all of the disciplines. So let's check this out. If I go to, well, actually, let's delete this view. Let's do something else here. Oh, really, I guess what I want to do is just take all those graphic overrides off. So I'll do the same thing as I did before. We'll remove the view template. We'll go to visibility graphics. We will hit expand all, select all again. I'll go find that line with the ceilings. And this should let me clear everything quickly. Okay. Now everything should go back to by category. And then my phase filter, I can assume that any graphic overrides that are applied are not coming from the graphic overrides from model categories. They're coming from this. I guess I should do some more due diligence with the filters and remove those. And everything should go back. We should see that strip of orange go away. Unless that's actually supposed to be orange. Okay. So now I'm just back to any old default view with the settings, but if you zero in over here, you can see here's some of that mechanical modeling, and it's got these highlights to it that, I don't know, if you're not in a mechanical discipline, you might be like, why is that cyan? Why is that magenta? So if we come back over here, we can take a look at that in this mechanical model. And so it's not like they said make all these ducts magenta and these ducts blue, and they did like an override on them. This comes from the system. So let's see here. Let's analyze this. Mechanical isn't really my comfort zone, but I do feel like I can get around this one. So let's just focus on the duct systems for the time being. So if I go to my project browser and I expand families, go find duct systems, you can see that there's a number of systems in here. We've got what looks like duplication. So I'm going to go and find a duct. And when I select that, you can see it says system type duct supply air. So that's the one I'm identifying. If I right click, we can go to its type properties. And if we look at graphic overrides here, you can see that the color is set to magenta. The same thing applies if we go to this one, take a look. This one is supply air. So a little duplication. But this one, if you go to type properties, you'll see that under its graphic overrides, it's blue. So the same thing is going to apply for the piping. I don't know if we can see any of that piping in this, but you can safely assume that if we went to the pipe systems and we open those up, if we look at something like piping chill return, let's just analyze this one quick. It's pink. Okay, so what's happening with that is all of these systems have their color overrides, and when I go back to my main coordination model, those are in place. Okay, so let's take a look at the phasing in this one. If we go to manage, click on phases, go to graphic overrides, you can see there's some stuff in here, like there's some overrides on the existing and the demolished, but we don't have any of this conceptual stuff happening. I'm going to take that out. We don't need that because I want to see things by category. So if I go to phase filters and I'm going to say show previous and new, then anything new is by category, anything existing should be overridden, and anything that's demolished should not be seen. And this by category essentially means black projection lines. So if we go to our phase filter now for this view, and we say show previous and new, I don't think we'll see much change here. But why are these not showing that way, right? So you could do this. You could say show complete, which typically makes everything black line. But I don't know that that's going to have the effect that's desired on these pipes, right? And that's because they have a phase filter on them. So let's see, Revit links, if we go to the HVAC, it's set to by host. So why isn't it behaving? It's actually saying phase filter show complete as well. So there's a couple ways that we can go about this. The first one, the one that I prefer to do, is to create a filter, which I've removed here, but if I add it back in, I think I've got it called systems mechanical. I've got a couple of them, so I'll put those in. And essentially, we would just select both of these and put a color that's black on them. And all these filters are doing is they're just looking for the categories that belong to those systems. So when I switch that over, that makes everything black. That's the easier way that I prefer. But if we come back over here and we take a look in the mechanical file, do they have a phase filter that overrides the those system settings for the piping systems and the duct? This could be a show complete that says by category, or in this mechanical file, if you look, it says new, and there's actually a black color override. So if we went to phase filters and said show complete black, and in this one here, we're going to put that override onto the new geometry. Let's see what happens here. Oh, does it do what we're after? Okay, so that changes everything. You can see here, these are actually symbols coming from the duct. So they have a different way of managing that. I believe that's is that an object styles? It's a duct. Right, so you can see here drop and rise are set to that green. If we change that to, let's change that to something else. Just to drive it home. Does it change? No. Is this a setting in here? I can't remember if that's relative to the family. Could be. But again, the mechanical stuff, I'm like out of my element. So anyway, let's try syncing this. See what happens. Essentially what I want to test is if I go back to my other host file, can I use this phase filter to replace the view filters that I've put on it? Oh, interesting. There you can see some magenta rise there on that duct. Oh, looks like they updated for me after. Take that egg off my face. Okay, so back in the coordination model, VV, come back to our filters. I'll just disable these, leave them in there for the time being. That should bring that color back. But now let's try this. If we go back to our Revit link and we go to the HVAC file, oh, probably need to reload. I can tell we're going to be doing a whole lot of post-processing on this one. Okay, that's done. All right, moment of truth. So visibility graphics, come to Revit links. We're going to go back to our HVAC model, click on custom, and then for our phase filter, we've got this show complete black. Let's see here. We change that. Hit OK. Do the lines go away? Oh no. Look at that. Not what we were expecting. What category is that? Mechanical equipment. Now those are all turning black. That's projection, right? And this didn't change to what we wanted. So let's see, is there anything else that we can do in here? Actually, let's move this out of the way. Little tip there. If I want to see these things that are happening here while using the apply button, then I need to get that dialog box out of the way. So I'm just going to push that out of the way here quick. Push that down. Well, let's see. Apply host view, apply. I don't think that's going to change anything, except it brings this back. Show complete. Doesn't seem to be doing anything either. So no dice on that. We put the view filters on. I think that's probably why I have always favored that, because then it didn't require me to have any alignment with the mechanical model. I could just apply those view filters to my view template. So that little test resolves. I'm sure that's how we went about that in the past, because you don't really have any control over the systems here. And using that override here, maybe I did this wrong. Let's explore that one more time. Yeah, so that's interesting. Now, if we explore this a little bit further, those are new elements, and there is no projection override on these. So there's no real reason why that mechanical equipment is showing as solid black. And I do believe that to be an anomaly. However, let's take a look at the reason why that might be. If I hit OK and we just go to visibility graphics and we'll explore mechanical equipment. Mechanical equipment has projection, but it has no options for cut. Expand that. And when you look at a lot of the other items that are coming from the MEP model, they don't have these options for cut. They only come in a projection, right? Go to pipes. Pipes don't have it. They've only got projection lines. So that's possibly one of the reasons why you get that sort of thing happening. But there is another situation that could be arising. Let's just take a quick look at this. And I don't think it is. But one of the things that I would take a look to after is material settings. Did want to bring that to this last bit on phasing, because those two pieces I left out. So pochés for conceptual design and phase filters from linked files. Bit of an anomaly, bit of a head scratcher till you get your head wrapped around it. So as always, I'm kind of recommending to put your view filters in place so that when you need to, it's simple enough just to engage those, right? And then I can just go back and use my typical show previous and new for any of my proposed views. Let's see here, show previous and new. That should take care of all of that and leave those pipes black. It should, but it has not. Why it has not? Revit link override. By host view, come back. Always a visibility conundrum to solve. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.